going to be talking about planting your carrots. So there's a few things you're going to need: a rake, a hoe, peat moss. You can use one of these cedar things if you want. And there's also a bone meal, blood meal, and Epsom salt mix, which I talked about in the potato vlog. I won't go into that right now because you can always go back and look. But just in case you want to know, 50% a bone meal, 50% blood meal, and then as much Epsom salt to make it look like a really good salt and pepper mix. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that. If you can't, I will take and edit it out later. Okay. And of course, seeds. So my first step is I'm going to take this peat moss and put it over the patch where I want to go. And I'll tell you why I'm going to do that. Because a lot of times when we're planting our carrots, if you don't really fluff up the dirt, what ends up happening is you get short, really fat carrots. They look amazing from the top, and you pull them out, they're short and fat with lots of fingers on them. There's a variety of reasons why that happens. Number one, the soil is too compacted, and that happens just from soil type, which is why I add the peat moss. And it also happens sometimes because we plant our carrots in rows. I do not. I do the plot gardening, which is, I did talk about that during the blog about plot gardening and how to plan your garden. And the reason why I do that, especially with my root vegetables, is so that I'm not walking in between the rows, which will compact the rows together, which forces the carrots to grow wide and not long and deep. So I'm gonna, once I get that in there, I turn the soil in by hand, you lucky me, along with the bone meal, blood meal, and Epsom salts, and then I plant my rows. I'm gonna pause this and get things set up. If you want my honesty here, I actually planted the carrots 2 weeks ago over there. But this is exactly what I do for carrots, so this is a process you can use for carrots, beets, and turnips. So I'm going to put the seeds in now, but I'm just going to explain beets first. Well, turnips a little bit, but mostly beets. They almost tend to grow up. Especially as the soil starts getting compacted, because regardless what you do here, it's going to be somewhat compacted. So I always kind of, like the potatoes, put a little bit of a trench and put my seeds in the trench and just slightly cover it in so that I actually can hill my beets up throughout the summer. The turnips, I'm actually going to put the turnips here because all my broccoli is going there. And the reason why I'm going to put my turnips here instead of here is because turnips are an early harvest. I'm not talking about the big rutabagas in the fall. I'm talking about the little summer turnips. And then by the time they're done, the broccoli's getting huge, and these guys come out. The broccoli has more space, and I have more room to walk, and the beets are gonna get big, and then they got more space, and it just kind of alleviates that way. So when I'm planning my garden, I try to take into account what crops going by what, not try, I do, what it's following from last year, because certain things cannot follow other things. And certain things can't grow beside certain things. And then on top of that, I like to plan things so that as things are harvested, it's actually making more room for the crops left behind to just get a little bit more space. Because it takes a while before you can actually see the plants, before I put the seeds in, I like to mark my rows. And again, if you know me,
I'm not cheap, I'm just kind of a hippie.
And why buy stuff when there's like all kinds of stuff at my hand here? Alright, so I always plant two kinds of seeds, the cylinder and the round. I find the round ones in the summer have a lot more taste, but the cylinder ones I find store a little better over winter, and so I like to store some beets. I'm planting a lot of beets this year because I am going to be pickling. Every second year I pickle a bunch of beets. So this doesn't look like it's a lot, but you will be incredibly surprised with how many beets I'm going to get by the end of the year, which you'll have to follow the blog to find out. The other thing is these guys grow fast and you can eat the entire plant. So as I'm thinning it out all summer, all those green, like thinning it out so that they have more space to grow, because you do have to thin it out, we don't throw a single thing away. Like in 2 weeks from now we'll be eating beet greens, and they're delicious. You boil them up with a little bit of salt and vinegar or salt and pepper or just butter or whatever, just plain, or you can saute them in your eggs. You could also just eat them as a salad. They are delicious, and the roots are fine obviously because you're going to eat them when they're big. So if you've never tried beet greens, I highly recommend it. And even after you've thinned it out, you get these plants, some of their beet plants will have lots of leaves. Just pick a few off here and there off of various plants to give yourself some vegetables for the day without actually harvesting the whole beet. How ça, bonjour, megazé? Bonjour. There's an eagle flying up above me. So because we eat our beet greens and every part of the beet through the beet season, I don't do too much planting too far apart because I know they're all going to get used. So I just pop them in, pop, pop, pop. Nice little row of beets. And as I said earlier in this blog, I'm not going to cover up and voila! Turnips, beets, carrots over there, and onions over there. My potatoes are popping, peas are over there, garlic's over there. All that's left to do to get this garden ready is get our transplants in, and that'll be on the weekend.